This is Keep Up. I'm your host, Cynthia Dill. It's Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. I'm in my Cape Elizabeth studio after a long day listening to the Supreme Court arguments on some of the latest transgender sports issues, transgender issues altogether, I would say. And as I think anybody who's been awake knows that there were two cases before the Supreme Court today. There was like over 3 hours of oral argument. And my takeaway, I guess just my gut feeling initially is that we should never have another Supreme Court justice from Harvard Law School, okay? Because let's just say Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, okay, she um, just so far removed from the reality, I think, of most Americans. And what I mean by that is, I just want to. She is one of three liberal justices who support um, allowing boys to play on girls' sports, allowing boys who identify as girls, so-called trans girls, which I don't agree with, but she is of the mindset, at least I can guess that from her questioning, that these boys who identify as girls are girls. And here's a quote that these are her words. This is like second order discrimination. The first order is separating male from female. And the second order is separating transgender women from cisgender women. And I must say, to hear this language, this gender ideology language about cisgender women was just heartbreaking and alarming. But also, just to get to the logic of that. So, this is our Supreme Court justice who's saying that to even separate sports on the basis of biological sex between men and women is discrimination in her view, despite Title IX and the regulations. But then she goes on to say that, and it's doubling down on discrimination because if we discriminate, if we separate transgender women from cisgender women, okay, so that's the same thing because transgender women are men and cisgender women are women. So it it's alarming to me that the jargon used by the Supreme Court justices in today's oral arguments include terms like cisgender and trans girls to, actually refer to boys. I so I don't think we should ever have another Supreme Court justice coming out of Harvard because I guess that's what's taught is that there is no biological difference between, or at least I guess there's some question, some reasonable basis to question that there's a difference between biological boys and girls. There is no basis to question it. It's just so ridiculous to me that we even have these conversations. And I was disappointed that Justice Amy Coney Barrett bought into it also, referring to trans girls, in other words, boys, and this cisgender language. It's to me, it's false. It's like gibberish. It's voodoo. It's not accurate words. And it's unfair to women and girls, and it's discriminatory. And so I think that we're going to have a good outcome from the Supreme Court, but I just find it so fascinating that the three women, liberals, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who was very annoying, I thought, with her questioning, sort of pedantic. It seemed to me she's just dripping with contempt for the administration, probably around immigration issues, and just wants to sock it to him. And so, even though I just don't understand her level of um, passion to support these men who dress up as women and demand access to women's spaces and teams and you know harm women and girls. She's just such a passionate defender of them, and I don't get it. And I can't help but think that it's just Donald Trump syndrome. So we have Justice Sonia Sotomayor, we have Justice Elena Kagan, who has also bought into this gender ideology. Apparently she's on the trans train. And then, of course, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. It just it's the three women liberals are the ones who are discriminating against women by their view that the definition of women includes men when they say so. I don't. They just don't. We don't see eye to eye. I mean, obviously they're smarter than I am. They're on the Supreme Court, and I owe deference to them by my professional responsibilities, and I certainly respect their opinion. It's just I disagree wholeheartedly with them on this issue, and it's just shockingly um, to me that that's the outcome is that the women on the Supreme Court, the liberal women, are the ones who are actually behind a position that, in my view, um, discriminates against women and girls. And the flip side of that is that Justice Thomas, okay, who everybody knows was accused by, you know, um, Anita Jones, uh, Justice Thomas, we have Brett Kavanaugh, who, of course, was pilloried during his confirmation hearing, accusations of um, sexual assault or sexual misconduct. Um, Other conservatives like Justices Alito and even Amy Coney Barrett. I mean, they are the ones who appear to be defending women's rights, the rights of women to equal opportunity and to not be discriminated against on the basis of sex. And the fact that the liberal justices don't see don't see the problem of having men included in the definition of women if there's ever going to be protection on the basis of sex. I mean, I just so politics makes strange bedfellows, and you know bad facts make sometimes bad law, and here we are as a culture deciding some just basic issues of fairness and dignity and safety for the rights of women and girls, and somehow have to use language that is unfamiliar and untrue. I mean, there's no such thing as a the use of cisgender by trans activists is to do exactly um, what they want to do, which is to impose on society this notion that somehow there's two types of women, cisgender and transgender, and that the two are equal. And if you reject that, like I do, like most people do, because trans women who are men are not equal to women. So I reject being called cisgender because it suggests, it implies that I'm a cisgender woman and there's another type of woman who's a transgender woman and somehow we're the same. No, I don't accept it. And I don't think I should have to be called cisgender all of a sudden because trans activists want me to. And it just very discouraging to hear Supreme Court justices refer to me as a cisgender woman. Like, hello? I mean, do we have cis black people? I want to ask this of Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's just she just accepts at face value that a man who identifies as a woman is a is a trans woman. Okay, well, what about a white person who identifies as a black person? Is there such thing as a cis black person? I don't think so. There's more to being a woman than just identifying as one. And so I think we're going to have a good outcome from the Supreme Court, but oh my goodness, let's turn the ship around with the language. You know, um, I'm not a cis woman. Cis my ass. Hashtag. And until next time, this is Cynthia Dell signing off. Take care. Oh, wait.